Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so excited to chat with you about The Harder They Fall. I really enjoyed this movie. I felt like it's something fresh and new that we haven't seen in film and cinema. So, first off, I wanted to ask you, what drew you to this project? Like, would you consider yourself to have an affinity for Westerns, or was all of this like something that was sort of new for you?
This was all kind of new for me. I didn't really grow up watching Westerns so much. I was more of like a musical kind of girl. Um, but this allowed me the opportunity to explore this genre, which I feel like I should, particularly since it plays such a big role in sort of cinema history and the shaping of the film world. And obviously, since we're revisiting this sort of iconic genre and painting it with some new brushes, um, and so I really wanted to make sure that I understood kind of like our source material in a way, and what we were remaking and redoing and how we were doing it. So I watched a bunch of westerns during this process of creating this film, but I was really drawn to. I think this script overall felt very felt very fresh in terms of how music was integrated into it, in terms of how the story was being told, obviously in terms of the casting choices and the approach in using like historical names for the different characters. Essentially proving to people like these people were real, even in the context of like a fictional space, but uh, but that you can't say that black people weren't there because we were. And I think people forget or just don't even realize, like, because it just wasn't really portrayed in our media and in our films. And yeah, so I was really interested in exploring and deconstructing kind of what we think of a spaghetti western and making a sort of a fresh new version of it. And then James, our director, is just like a very interesting person, intoxicatingly so. And after having a FaceTiming with him, I was like, oh, I gotta work with this guy. Beyond that, the rest of the cast was already cast. It was like the last phone call, and I was like, these people are. How can I say no?
Mhm.
So yes, many different things drew me into this project.
Yeah. And what do you ultimately hope the viewers take from this film? Western, like you said, Westerns are a big part of cinema, but, Black people haven't really been in this narrative, even though we existed during this time as it was set. So I know this will be like history lessons for a lot of people, but ultimately, what do you hope that viewers take away from the film?
Um, I think, I hope viewers just kind of like reconfigure the view they have, I think, of the old West. And I suppose of, another part of the United States, who I think we all have a very sort of like specific point of view, because it's been so hammered into us just because it was such a huge part of our culture,
Mm.
the Western film, the spaghetti Western. And so honestly, I'm sure we have just a completely false view of even sort of what it looked like and how people talked. And like, that's not how people spoke, I'm sure. I don't know, I wasn't there. But, we have like kind of made this big commercial sort of thing around it. And, when I was researching for this film, I was surprised at, 25% of cowboys essentially were Black people. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's like a lot of people. And you really don't see them in films, and you don't really see them in the stories that have been told over and over again. um, and I would love for people to just walk away with, I think initially there was sort of, I could see people being skeptical about like the validity of an all Black uh, cowboy film, and I would love to kind of just like take sort of like a baseball bat to that and be like, this is valid, and this could have been a reality, you know, like this all Black towns existed. And while, yes, the story is fictional and all these characters living at the same time is fictional and interacting with each other is fictional, love story, you know, all of that isn't real, but these names are real. And, you know, I would love, you know, for people to continue saying the names.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me, and I can't wait for everyone to see this movie. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a good one.
You too.